What's going on, everybody? This is Adam Bajan with the Wolves Group, powered by LPT Realty in Daytona Beach, Florida. Today, this video is a special request from Diana Diamond. She asked me in one of my previous videos if I'd make a video comparing owning a home versus owning a condo. So that's what this video is going to be all about, is home ownership versus condo ownership, and some of the pros and cons that go along with it. Now, I know there are going to be some exceptions to this rule on both sides, both with homes and with condos, but just this is a list I've compiled of just an overall, like, this is typically the situation for home and condo ownership. So the first pro that I've got for condo ownership is definitely the amenities. A lot of these condos have multiple pools in some situations. They have hot tubs, social gathering rooms, theater rooms, gyms, spas, just shuffleboard, mini golf. There's all kinds of stuff going on at these condos. So that's one of my favorite features of the condo lifestyle, is that you've basically got everything right there on property. The next pro that you're going to have with condo living is resort style living, meaning it's really an easy way of life. You don't have all the upkeep, like you don't have a yard to mow. You don't have to worry about adding chlorine to the pool, maintaining the property, because that's all done. So that's one of my big pros for living in a condo, is the resort style living, basically being a hands-free lifestyle. My third pro that I've got for you for living in a condo is the ease of locking up and going. Whether it's your full-time residence or it's a part-time residence, there is something to be said about, hey, if you're going on vacation or you're going back up north for the summertime, you can just lock the door and go. A lot of these buildings, you have to have a key fob or a code to get into the building themselves, or they have security either part of the day or 24/7. So that is a big plus of living in a condo, is just being able to lock your door and going and knowing that it's most likely going to be pretty secure the entire time you're gone. And then the fourth pro that I have for condo living is there's always something going on. A lot of these condos, they have an event coordinator, they'll have social gatherings. It's just a lot easier to meet people, because if you're hanging out around the pool every day during the summer, you're gonna notice a lot of the same people hanging out there as well. So very easy to get to know people. So if you're a social butterfly, that's definitely a pro of living in a condo, is it's easy to meet people, and there's usually something going on every week, every month, definitely during the holidays. So that's definitely a nice pro of living in a condo, is that there's always something going on and it's easier to meet people. All right, now the cons of living in a condo. I've got 4 cons of living in a condo. The first one is going to be assessment/maintenance fees. With a lot of these condos out there, you can have some reasonable maintenance fees. A lot of them do include your day-to-day bills, like your power, your water, your sewage. Not all of them, but most of them, they do include those typical bills that you have anyways. But where it gets a little bit more of a negative to me is when those monthly maintenance fees start getting up to $700, $800 a month. I saw one last week that was $1,200 a month for their maintenance fees. So that can start adding up, and they can start increasing. But along with the maintenance fees is you do have assessment fees. So if the building needs to get painted, if the roof needs to get replaced, you could get hit with an assessment fee out of nowhere. Maybe the parking garage needs to be repaved. So these are all things that you need to think about. Is it's not just purchasing the condo itself, it's you do have the monthly maintenance fees that you have to pay, and then you have to be prepared for assessment fees coming up out of nowhere. So that's definitely a con in my book, would be the assessment fees or the maintenance fees being too high. The next con that I have for condo living would be that they're not as private. Now, this is me personally. I like having some privacy and some space between me and my neighbor. Some of you might enjoy being right next to somebody. But as far as condo living goes, if you like having a little more space or a little more privacy, it's something to think about, as you are going to have typically somebody on top, below you, and on each side of you. So a con of condo living is it's definitely not as private. The next con that I have for condo living, and it kind of goes along with the condo not being as private, you'll see why in a second, is you're not typically allowed to hire your own contractor. Typically, most condo complexes that I've seen, they have a list of preferred contractors. So if you want to get work done in your condo, you've got to use one of their preferred contractors. So your best friend could be a GC, but if he's not on their list of preferred contractors, he's not going to be able to go there and do the work for you. And obviously, if your best friend's a GC, he's probably going to save you some money on the work. So it might sound, frustrating at first, but it makes sense that you have to use their list of preferred contractors. If the unit above you started leaking and there's water from the unit above you that's leaking down into your condo, you want to have a you want the person above you to have a preferred contractor come in and fix that leak, versus some random Joe Blow that they find, walking down the side of the street someday that says, yeah, I've done some plumbing in my life. And they come in and try and fix the leak. They blow out the plumbing and flood the entire building. So it is kind of a con that you're not allowed to use your own GC for renovations and stuff like that. You do have to use the GC preferred list that your complex is going to provide you with. And then the last con that I have for condo living would definitely be parking. Typically, when you are going to have company over, you've got to let the HOA know. Maybe you have to have your company sign in, in a book in the lobby. You have to let somebody know that you're going to have somebody parking there on property. The other thing that I would say that goes hand in hand with the parking is I personally drive a truck that wouldn't be able to fit in most garages that I've seen at these condo complexes. So if you do drive a bigger truck, you're probably going to have a harder time finding parking in the garage. So you'll probably have to park, upstairs or outside. So it's not going to be as secure typically. And then parking again, when you're moving in and out of your condo, it's going to be a little bit harder to situate that and figure that out. If you're bringing a big moving truck in there, you might have to park on the street in front of the complex. So parking is definitely something to think about. If you're someone that likes to have parties or entertain, larger crowds of people, it's definitely something you need to take into consideration, is where is your company going to park when they're there visiting you. All right, moving over into our pros and cons of homeownership. The first pro that I have for owning a home is you have more space. You're not right on top of each other. Us personally, we've got a cul-de-sac to ourselves. We have one neighbor to our left, a nature preserve behind us, a vacant lot across from us, and then woods on the other side of our house. So for me personally, I've got a neighbor on one side and everything else is woods. So I like that a lot. I like having a little bit more privacy and not having those nosy neighbors up in your business. So having a little more space and more privacy is my first pro of owning a home. All right, my second pro of home ownership would be low to no home ownership association fees. So I don't know of any condos that don't have HOA fees that are due monthly, quarterly, but I do know of a lot of single family homes that do not have any HOA fees. So to me, that's a big win. Even if they do have HOA fees in their single family home, they're typically lower compared to HOA fees that condo owners pay, simply for the fact because the single family owner, they don't have all the upkeep and amenities where a condo would. Like, they're not paying for multiple pools. Typically, they're not paying for yard services unless they want it themselves. They're not paying for the saunas, the security and stuff like that. So that's definitely a pro in my book, is low to no HOA fees when you own a single family home. All right, my third pro for home ownership is going to be parking. With a condo, sometimes if they don't have assigned parking in the garage, you can be finding yourself driving around the garage waiting for a spot to open up if they don't have assigned parking. But with a single family home, you don't have to worry about that at all. You pull in your garage, you pull in your driveway, you park on the street in front of your house. There's typically more space for parking. So if you do like having people over, you do like throwing parties or entertaining, you're not going to have to worry about having to call somebody to authorize people coming over. They're not going to have to sign a login book to come visit your house, and you typically just have more space for parking. So that would definitely be my third pro for you, would be you don't have the headache of parking like you would if you lived in a condo. My fourth pro for living in a single family home would definitely be the ease of moving in and out. With a condo, a lot of times you're having to go up stairwells or up and down elevators. Typically with your home, you're just bringing everything out the garage door or the front door, and you're bringing it right into a moving truck that's parked right outside. Like I said, with a condo, you're going up and down elevators. A lot of times the moving truck is parked in the street. Outside of the complex, you've got a little bit more of a haul to bring your stuff down into the truck. So that is definitely the fourth pro for me, would be just how much easier it is to move in and out of a house. Bringing us over to our cons list, the first con of home ownership would be it's definitely more upkeep. You've got more to maintain. If the roof goes out, you're paying for 100% of that roof. You're not sharing it with everybody else that lives in the complex. If you have your own pool, you're taking care of the pool. You're taking care of the yard work. If the sprinkler goes out, you've got to have somebody come in and pay for the sprinkler. So there is a little bit more upkeep, in my opinion, that you're more hands-on versus a condo, where a condo is going to take care of the maintenance going out. If the garage door in a condo parking garage goes out, they're just going to take care of it. You don't have to worry about picking up the phone and getting quotes and all that stuff. So my first con of home ownership in a single family home would definitely be you're going to have more upkeep than you would with a condo. The second con that you're going to have with single family home ownership, and this is going to sound a little bit funny, a little bit crazy at first, the second con that I've got is trees. You heard that right, trees, okay? So the reason I say that is, if you think about it, if you have oak trees hanging over your house, those oak trees are constantly dropping things onto your roof, which are going to eat away at the lifespan of your roof a lot quicker. Trees also have roots that can grow under your house and mess with your foundation. That's a whole nother factor that you've got to worry about now, is the foundation of your house if something goes on there. Again, when storms roll through, and being in a coastal town in Florida, we do get storms, we definitely get hurricanes. You've got debris to pick up from the trees. Branches, leaves, the tree itself could fall on your house, which causes a whole new list of repairs and expenses that you're going to have. So as silly as it sounds, trees definitely bring an element of homeownership that you're not going to have to worry about if you have a condo, because I don't know of too many trees that are growing in condo buildings, or if a tree falls on a condo, it's probably going to fall up against a condo. It's not going to fall through the roof, since most of them are taller buildings. So trees are definitely your second con of home ownership. The third con that I have for owning a single family home is going to be your expenses. I mentioned with owning a condo, a lot of your monthly bills are just automatically included in your monthly maintenance fee that you pay. With a home, all those bills are on you. So if you're setting up Wi-Fi, you've got to call around and get quotes. You're in charge of your water bill. You're in charge of your power bill. You're in charge of lawn services, pool services. So that stuff can add up. Again, though, you can take care of some of that stuff yourself. Like you can mow your own lawn, you can clean out your own pool. But if you like having a turnkey operation and somebody else is taking care of that stuff for you, having those separate bills that are hitting you each and every month at different times, it can get a little bit expensive. It can also be a little more mental capacity to remember to take care of those bills. So that can be a con of owning a single family home that you're not necessarily going to have by living in a condo when it's all just turnkey and taken care of for you in your monthly expenses. The fourth and final con that I have for you for owning a single family home would be security. What I mean by that is being able to lock up and go like you would with a condo. You know, a condo, you lock the door and you're gone. A little bit different when you own a home. You've got, you know, you want to make sure somebody's got eyes on your house. If somebody breaks into your house, you're probably not going to know about it until you get home. Whereas if you've got, you know, if you're living in a condo, you're typically, if you're not on the ground floor, you're not going to have to worry about somebody breaking in your windows or your back door. It's typically just going to be the front door, and that's about it. So home ownership is a little bit different when you have a single family home because they can get into your house. You do have, in my opinion, a little bit more headache of being able to lock up and go, because if you are going to be gone for an extended period of time, you've got to think about, you know, if you live in an HOA, is somebody going to mow your yard? Because you don't want the HOA getting onto you because your grass has gotten too tall. If you have a pool, you've got to think, who's going to come and take care of the pool while I'm gone? So just again, it is a little bit easier to lock up and go if you own a condo, whereas in my book, if you own a single family home, it does require a little bit more planning and brain power to figure out the logistics of packing up and getting ready to go for an extended period of time. All right, guys, so I hope that was useful for you. I hope that helps you understand a little bit more of the pros and cons of owning a single family home versus owning a condo. Again, that was from one of you guys that suggested that I make a video like that. So I love hearing suggestions from you guys. So if you've got a video or some content that you'd like for me to put out, go ahead and leave me a comment down below in this video. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And then if you are interested in moving to the Daytona Beach or Central Florida area, definitely subscribe to this channel. Hit the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified each and every time I put out new content, so you can go and check it out. And if you are thinking about moving to the Central Florida area, definitely hit me up, whether you're sending me a text, give me a call, sending me an email, a smoke signal, whatever it is. Reach out to me if you are thinking about moving to this area. I'm a full-time realtor. I was born and raised right here in the Daytona Beach area, so I know it extremely well. I've got all the contacts that you can need, you know, drywall guys, electricians, pool companies, GCs, handymen, pest guys, whatever you need, I've got resources for you because I have been here my entire life. So I've developed a pretty extensive book of resources for you. All right, guys, so hope this video was useful, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.